Hello. Today I'm going to be reading to you from a rather marvellous book I've found, called A Book of Fabulous Beasts. Old stories retold by A. M. Smyth, with illustrations by Dorothy Fitch. This book was first published in 1939, so rather a long time ago. Today I'm going to be reading you the story of the Phoenix. In deep forests of perfume and spice-bearing trees which grow in the hot countries of Arabia and Persia, there lived, it was said, the rarest and most beautiful bird in all the world, the phoenix. There may have been more than one, or it may have been always the same, seen only at long intervals, unchanged and ageless. It was believed to be the bearer of good fortune and happiness, an omen of peace, of full-eared crops in sunny fields, of strong herds and sturdy calves and lambs, of busy factories and healthy workers, of money and prosperity, of good-will and ease in which grace and intelligence might flourish among men. Like the unicorn, it has become an emblem of virtue and power. The phoenix was sacred to the sun. It lived and throve in the unstinted rays of the tropical sun and wore the colours of light itself. All the colours into which sunlight breaks when seen through water or half-closed eyelids were in its plumage. Its ruff and crest were of gold, its tail pure blue and rose, and the feathers of its body and wings were purple, shot with green and scarlet iridescent hues. To the rare and happy person who caught a glimpse of it on some hot Arabian journey, it seemed like a flash of brighter light moving in the sunlight itself, until in the flash of an eye discovered the splendid form of the phoenix. It is said that the phoenix did not eat like an ordinary bird, that it did not build a nest like one, and that it did not die. No one ever saw it feeding, but it was thought that it lived on sunlight, and drank drops of dew as they shone in the light of the rising sun, or that it was nourished by the perfume drawn from them by the heat of the sun of the fragrant trees among which it lived. The phoenix was supposed to build a nest once in 540 years, but this nest was also its funeral pyre. When the phoenix and its nest had been burnt up by the sun, and the phoenix had risen again from the ashes, it gathered up the remains of the nest and flew with them to the sacred city of the sun, which may have been Heliopolis in Egypt, and there placed them upon the altar in the temple of the sun. When the burnt nest was seen upon the altar, then men knew that the phoenix had been born again. The strangest of all the wonders told of the phoenix was that it did not die, and this is what is supposed to have happened. When 540 years have been measured by the sun, the phoenix receives its mysterious message. It retires to the most secret of all its haunts, and chooses a spot where the rays of the sun fall direct. Here it makes its nest. It picks twigs of the incense tree, and sprays of cassia and sandalwood, and of them weaves the framework. The lining is made of leaves and fruit of spice, and the other perfume-bearing trees, making a rich, scented bed. When all is ready, and the sun is approaching the height of its power at midday, the phoenix settles down onto the nest. It fixes its bright eyes on the beaming sun, and remains motionless, entranced. As the burning fire of the sky moves nearer and nearer to its height, the heat on the earth becomes more and more intense. Still the phoenix gazes, wholly absorbed in the depths of that terrific light and power. The twigs of the nest grow hotter and hotter, and then they begin to smoulder. A tongue of flame licks out, and then another, aromatic smoke rises around the phoenix, and it rejoices at this striking of the power of the sun. Soon the nest is aflame, and the phoenix also. This is the moment of the bird's greatest joy, when it is consumed by and taken into the source of all its life. In a little while, the fire dies down, and only ashes remain. But in those ashes is a worm or tiny snake. It lays an egg in the hot ashes, and then is consumed by the last flicker of flame. The sun glows on the egg, and in a few moments hatches it. The shell falls apart, and there is revealed a little coloured bird, the new phoenix. It is a miniature of its full-grown self, purple iridescent body, gold ruff and tiny crest, rose and azure tail. It is born again from its own egg, for truly the phoenix never dies. Basking in the sun, stretching its neck, turning its head this way and that, flapping its little wings in the life-giving warmth, the new phoenix grows rapidly to full size. Now, in its renewed youth, it is even more beautiful than before. Its eye is even more brilliant. Its plumage flashes back the light even more dazzlingly. The time has come for its first act of duty. Stretching out head and wings, it does obeisance to the sun. Then it gathers up what remains of the nest in its beak, and rises on its mighty flashing wings. Higher and higher it rises, casting in great circles in the air to find the direction of the city of the sun. Higher and higher, until it is only a speck against the burning light. Higher still, until it is lost in distance where no mortal bird could follow. Good night. I hope you sleep well.